using the three people sort of in the mix here, obviously Dan Snyder at the top, Mike Shanahan, and Robert Griffin III. And I should say Robert Griffin III's camp. Let's include his family, sort of his close associates.
At least his father is man enough to be the source.
Let me ask the question. You know, Dan, I want to start with you. Dan, I want to start with you. If you're assigning blame out of a pie chart, let's do 100% blame to go through these three parts of the camp for the current state of the Redskins and the drama and the soap opera that is at Ashburn right now. How much of the percentages go to each wedge? Snyder, Shanahan, RG3.
First of all, golly, what a life this is that we're doing percentage blame. I mean, we're not even talking
pie charts
on
Post Sports Live.
You know, I'm going to, this kind of goes against my instinct a little bit, but I'm going to give the majority of the blame to Shanahan because he is the guy that runs this organization, and they're a horrible team right now, and that's why all this drama is happening. I don't know how you could blame anyone more than the coach and de facto general manager anyhow. So I'll give him like 60%. I'm going to give Dan Snyder like 30% for the same reason. He has to own this is his organization, and we've seen situations like this over and over for the past 15 years. I think Robert Griffin III and his family have done countless things that would better have been avoided over the past few years. But I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass because he is 23 years old, and I think that he is taking his cues from adults who are acting like children. And so I think he's not faultless, but I'm going to keep it at like 10% for him. All
right, so 60 for Shanny, 30 for Snyder. What do you have, Keith?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of playing the blame game either and only giving it to three people because there are a lot of people who have their hand in this. But if I had to do it, 45, 45, 10, that would be Snyder running the organization, Shanahan, and 10 for Robert Griffin III. I think the players, ideally the players play, and they should be shielded from this the circus atmosphere. I understand, you know, the star quarterback has to you know, have a public persona and handle that in maybe different ways than Robert Griffin III has handled it. But the state of the franchise is certainly, it starts at the top and it runs through Mike Shanahan, and there's reasons why they are where they are. You know, we could talk about the salary cap penalty and not having enough talent, but all those things came from decisions that were made by the franchise.
Can I chip in one more thing before LeVar speaks? I think, look at the first 2 years of Shanahan and Snyder here, when Griffin was not in the picture. We had the Hainsworth debacle, we had the McNabb thing, we had the contract extension, the benching, and the cardiovascular. I mean, it's not like this place was free of drama.
Grossman.
Right.
Yeah, this place was not free of drama, so it's hard to put the drama on RG3, I think.
But that drama also existed prior to Shanahan when you were Zorn. So just to point that out. Go ahead, LeVar. Your take. I think I know where you're going with this.
I don't think you do.
All right.
I'm giving 90% to Mike Shanahan.
Wow. That does surprise me.
I'm giving 7.5 to Mike Shanahan.
Wait, what?
Wait,
7.5.
You said
right?
You said
to
90
Daniel
to
Snyder?
Shanahan.
Or excuse me, to Snyder.
Okay.
7.5.
All right. 97.5. All right.
And the rest goes to the players. Like, I'm not even
singling out RG3.
No, it goes to the players.
Okay.
In general. And the reason why I give that small percentage to the players is based solely upon that last game. I won't even take and consider the rest of the season. I looked at that last game and I saw a group of guys that, if anything, you play that game for one another. You play that game for one another. When all else fails, we may lose this game, but at least go out of that game knowing that we gave our heart and our soul to try to win this game. I saw it in very few, is what I'll say.
Explain to me the 90% though.
Why so high on Shanahan? On Shanahan is that the reason why it's high for him as it is low for Dan Snyder is it is established what Dan Snyder is. It's established how Dan Snyder handles things, and to think that that's going to change is ridiculous. So when you accepted that contract, the reason why you are the highest paid coach for one of the failing organizations in the National Football League is because you knew that your compensation needed to be so high for you to accept this job to come in and try to fix this mess. You've walked into the filth, and you've not only not fixed the filth that you said was fixed last week, but it is continuing to get filthier. I can look at some of these coaches around here. I said that Joe Gibbs was coward-like for leaving the way that he did. You know what? Maybe it was wrong to stay cowardly-like. Maybe it was, you're a smart man, even though I don't fool with you, but you were a smart man for getting out of the way of what it is that you saw you could not, you can't fix it. So when that man accepted $7 million a year, $7 million a year to be a part of this, you said to yourself, you are paying me a large, absorbent amount, an ungodly amount of money to come in here and take whatever it is that comes my way with whatever it is that happens with this team. So take it and own it, and own that 90% because you took the job. Nobody told you to come off of Mexico and the beach where you were getting your tans and feeling real good about yourself to come here and coach this team and be smug. And do you notice how he doesn't answer the questions of beat reporters? He brushes beat reporters off. He answers national reporters, which further solidifies why you could ultimately say that coming from a large, credible source, I know Dan Graziano. He did come on our show before he started working with ESPN. This man has FaceTime with Dan Snyder weekly, appointment FaceTime with this coach. So to me, you're answering national media. Why? Because this is a bigger deal than you sitting here trying to stay face and save your reputation within this market. He could care less about this market. You got paid to come here. You own it. 91%.
Nobody. Keith was the closest to putting Snyder at you put Snyder at equal parts. But we got to move on because I'm getting buzzed in my ear.
Well, this is crazy that he comes out of this looking better. Better than he's looked.
I'm surprised by the three. I have about 10 follow-up questions that I don't have time to ask. But that's the biggest thing is how can you let Snyder off so lightly?